I felt like when I started wearing skirts, I was doing it in Meerut because honestly, I wanted to get viral.
It's a traumatic story for a lot of people to come out to their parents.
So I gave her the example of this one celebrity gay man out there. I told her that, listen, I am just like him. And my mom got more confused because she was like, oh, that person is gay. I was like, यार हाँ मेरे को literally धक्के मार के निकाला था इन्होंने same that day. And I was so angry.
I think for acceptance also, a celebration like this is also important.
Very important. Society is telling them if your child is from LGBTQIA plus community, so they cannot do good in their life. And I proved that point wrong. But when we were shooting in Meerut, few people actually approached us in a way where I felt I was about to get attacked.
A young guy from Meerut decided to change things, not only for himself, but also for his family. For people from small town to look up to him and get the much needed motivation. For every queer person to be felt, heard, and included. From hiding in a room to create content to ruling the streets in a skirt. This guy in a skirt is here to stay and slay. This is Mrinil Mathur Rajwani, and join me as I catch up with Shivam Bhardwaj. Hi Shivam, welcome to Social Ketchup.
Hi, thank you. I'm really excited for this.
Like you mentioned, it's a Pride Month and we have to talk. We have to talk whenever it's there. Every June we need to reconnect and do something good.
I know. I already said I am your favorite gay.
Yes.
So I have to.
Okay. I know we have spoken a lot about you and about your creator journey, but before we go deep into that, I want to begin with what happened, what made you the guy in skirt. What does skirt mean to you in general? Is it rebellious? It's a self-expression? Is it the flow that helps you? I mean, what is in skirt that make you fall in love with it?
I think wearing skirts have given me everything because that is how even you got to know about me, right? That made me viral all over India. And I felt like when I started wearing skirts, I was doing it in Meerut because honestly, I wanted to get viral. And I wanted to do something which was different on the internet. And it happened, honestly. When I made my first video in a skirt, it got viral. So I know I have to do this, but I never changed my name. I never changed the guy in a like the guy in a skirt happened after a long, like I think after 2 years or like after 3 years, because I was really nervous. Should I make my whole identity about wearing skirts? And then one day my sister was like, my sister lives in Manchester, so she is like quite open-minded with all these things. She said, do you want to like do something like that, full bang on skirt content? And I said, I want to, but I'm really scared of my dad because that is where I get really nervous and afraid. Like I'm really afraid of my dad. I used to, but at that time, I think it was not about being rebel. It was about being seen. I always wanted to be a successful content creator. I will still say it's a big, long way to go for me. But that was the whole point of wearing skirt, just to be seen on the internet. But then when I started wearing them, it went crazy. I realized, I am feeling more confident and people are really loving me. So I changed my name to the guy in a skirt, and that's how I was born, actually. The guy in a skirt.
But tell me, so from in my understanding and for a lot of people, the video that went viral was you wearing a skirt in a local train. That was majorly that people started noticing you in Bombay. But you said that you started doing it in Meerut. So
Yeah.
tell me that story. Tell me
Yeah.
about that video.
So I used to own this clothing brand 4 or 5 years back. This is the first time I'm saying this on the internet. I used to own a clothing brand and we wanted to introduce skirts in the clothing brand. So I went and bought some samples for the brand. And I bought this one black skirt, which was so pretty. And one day in the night, I just wore it, and then I felt like, oh, this is so me. I want to create something in this. So next day, I talked about it to one of my friends. And she said, oh, you cannot wear a skirt because nobody will like accept. I had 3,000 followers at that time. So she said, nobody will like a guy wearing skirt. They will probably end up unfollowing you. And then I felt like a rebel. Then I felt like, sorry. Then I felt like a rebel. And I was like, I will style it because मैंने हमेशा अपने दिल की करी है, right? So I was like, मैं पहनूंगा. So next day I wore it, made a video, it got viral. And that is how it started. But when did I get got massive viral? It was Mumbai local train. Yeah.
Because I know, because I had no idea. Like, I've spoken to you so much, but I had no idea that the guy in his skirt happened way back in Meerut.
Yeah, way back in Meerut. I mean, I was really scared because I look a certain way now, but I'm talking about like 4 or 5 years back. I used to look very different, and people used to not take me seriously at all in Meerut because, come on, it's Meerut. You know, they still don't take me serious. Like, you know, they started taking me seriously when I was standing with Katrina Kaif. Like, you know, they were like, oh, damn, like he is a thing in Mumbai now. But at that point of time, they were not taking me seriously. So, like, wearing skirts were more of me telling them I will do whatever I want to do. And that is how it actually started, honestly.
And tell me about the transition from being a person in Meerut to coming to Bombay to living here, making a career for yourself. I know there is a lot that happened between these two cities.
I know, I know. Like, these two cities are very different. In Meerut, people, I feel like Abhi in Meerut, they do treat me like this celebrity kind of a treatment because they have realized that he's doing great and he's gonna do greater things onwards only. But I remember when I started doing it, right? Like, Mumbai is very different. You can never compare it to Meerut. And that is why I decided to live in Mumbai. Like, it's been 3 years in Mumbai now. But in Meerut, people are very like awkward around you when you are wearing these clothes, and they will make you uncomfortable. You will feel very safe. But you know, when I started creating content, it was never about getting famous or probably getting money. It was more about I want to do something in fashion. That was my dream. My dad stopped me from doing that. He wanted me to be a CA, and I was like literally reading magazine like Vogue and all. And I was like, no, I want to do something in fashion. So I think that's something which I feel like in Meerut, you don't have that exposure. And people try to push you towards, like, you know, the stereotypical mindset, be a CA, be a CA. And I am there sitting reading a Vogue magazine in my room. But I'm very happy that I chose to listen to me, because even today, my dad feels happy that I, you know, chose me.
There is there's a story behind, and I've seen in one of your reel that the relationship between you and your father, the one that is now, is very different from the one you had maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
How has
It's
that
very different.
changed?
Like, I mean, today when you will see both of us, you will be like, "Are you sure he really kicked you out of the house? Are you really sure?" I was like, "यार हाँ, मेरे को literally धक्के मार के निकाला था, you know, the same that day." And I was so angry. I was so angry at that time because मैं पूरे रात को, like, I was sitting on the road out of my house, expecting my dad to come and take me inside, and he didn't came. And that was the moment I realized, you know, I am not only his son, like, I'm his gay son. And that is the difference. Like, you know, he's not never gonna treat me like my elder brother. See, you have never heard about my elder brother, right? So I do have my family issues too as a gay man. But at that time, I felt like really bad. I was like, Papa bhi aenge, Papa bhi aenge, abhi aenge. And then he never came. And that is where I started working in a BPO. And then I started earning my own money. But after that, slowly, my dad realized that I'm really serious for this dream. And my dad never kicked me out of the house because I was a gay man. I am a gay man. He kicked me out because he was very against me being a content creator. Yeah, he was like, this is not the profession you want to choose. So I started creating videos in my house. मैं मतलब, like, I bought this 100 rupee का एक paid and all, and I used to do this setup in my room. Like, you know, we had only one room. I come from a, like, people don't know and they don't realize that, but I come from a very poor family. Now things are really great. I'm very happy. But I used to come from a poor family. So I used to do this small setup in my home. And when my dad used to come back, he used to really like come with that, you know, thinking, what are you doing? And the day he kicked me out of the house, he actually ruined all of my setup. I was shooting. And he's like, you cannot do this. And at that time, I realized I'm gonna just like fight back today because this is my dream. So that was the situation 5 years back. But today, like, he really behaves like my manager. Like, damn, like I remember whenever I log any deal, like every morning he'll call and like, how are things going? Like things are going great. But today he really like behaves like my manager. So that's like something new. And if you ask me how did he changed and all, because
Yeah,
that's a big question.
that is what I wanted to ask you. What changed in him and you that the relationship is such a sweet relationship now?
I feel like parents are not really thinking कि हमारा बच्चा gay है, and that is why we don't want to accept them. I think they only want to say, please be successful, because society is telling them if your child is from LGBTQIA plus community, so they cannot do good in their life. And I proved that point wrong. And that really changed my dad perspective towards me. And I think that is the reason he changed.
So you, when did you like opened about your personality to him? You spoke to your mom first. You came out to
Oh, that's a funny story. So I decided to tell my mom first. I was like, I should tell my mom first because I love my mom. She is literally the best mom in the world. So I was like, okay, mom. So I gave her the example of this one celebrity gay man out there. I told her that, listen, I am just like him. And my mom got more confused because she was like, oh, that person is gay. And I was like, shit, damn. Like, I was like, now I have to tell her like in depth that
there's a lot of
because
schooling required.
Yeah, she didn't even like, my mom is just 10th passed out. She's very intelligent, but she never heard about LGBTQIA plus community. So I have to really educate her. So the only thing which I told her that day was that, listen, I am different from others and I will let you know about all this slowly. But you should know nothing is changing. I will still work hard. I will make sure that I get successful and you will be very happy from what I'm doing. And she was crying. She was crying a lot. Then I hugged her again and I said, I will make you proud. And this is 5 years back. And I think that really pushed me. I went back home crying because my mom and dad used to live in Uttarakhand with my brother. So I went back home crying. In my mind, I was only thinking I have to get successful now because it's for my mom. And then for my dad, I never told him. I was scared. Like, he's the same man who kicked me out of the house. I was like, he's gonna like kill me probably. I'm
Well,
not
he
like
had no idea by the time he kicked you out.
I think they always knew. Come on, like they
मम्मी
all,
को पता था वैसे उस
मम्मी लोगों को पता होता है. But I think my dad also had this idea. I was always this fragile gay guy. I was like, नहीं मेरे से ज़्यादा कुछ मेहनत नहीं होगी and all. Like I was that kind of gay man in my school also. And they used to understand, but as I said, they didn't knew anything about LGBTQI plus community. So my dad, he called me samne se. He called me and said, is this real? Like everyone is talking about you being gay man. And I said, so I was like, abhi to batana hai. I was like, I can't lie. So I was like, yes, I am a gay man. And I said, listen, I just want to tell you nothing is changing. I will still work hard. I'll make sure that you are proud. And I don't know what happened to him. He just only said, are you influenced by someone? Because that is what parents think. That we are going on social media. हम social media पे लोगों को देखे और हम उनकी तरह बन रहे हैं. And I said, no. And I said, I was always like this. You never realized. And I said, but you don't have to be scared. Life is too short. I have to tell my reality to everyone because I don't know. Like life is genuinely too short. So I don't know what happened to him. He like literally cut the call by saying, okay, take care of yourself. And that was a relief because I thought he's going to say, pack your bags and go out again. And that's my worst nightmare, honestly. Nobody wants to get kicked out of their houses. So yeah, that is how I told both of them. Too dramatic. There should be like a Netflix series on me. Why isn't it that happening?
I think it's a traumatic story for a lot of people to come out to their parents.
Yeah, I always say it's not only my story. Like there are so many queer people out there. It's literally everyone's story. The education part, in our society is so weak. And every time I sit in my videos, I want to make sure that maybe there will be some child who can open my video and show it to their parents and be like, see, he's also doing it, so I can do it too. And that is how I keep going.
Shivam, we spoke about your father, the relationship you have with him then and now, but I want to know about your mother. I know like you mentioned that you opened up to her first, but
Yeah.
Would you tell me how is she in general? How she has supported you in your career?
I think she is actually the reason I'm honestly alive today, because I remember the day my dad kicked me out of the house. I was shocked that my mom told me to go. I was like, this, why is she doing that? She should actually stop this.
Hmm.
But she eventually did the best thing, because afterwards she told me, if you would have stayed here, you would have never survived in this environment. She saw me struggling. She said, I saw, and she gave me 500 note while I left. It was not like I didn't had anything.
Hmm.
I had those 500, So I feel like my mom has seen a lot in his life. She wanted to be a police officer, but she was, married very early, like in her life. So her dream got cut off. So when I told her about my dream, she was like, I'll make sure that you do that. So she was the one who gave me 100 rupees for my first shoot, and I got 6 pictures clicked. It's still on Facebook, those 6 pictures. And from those 100 rupees, it started. So till today, I always say this, it's not only my dream, it's my mom's dream. I have to show her that at least my dream is getting successful through her. And we have seen very low days. I've seen my mom not eating food just so that we can eat. So when today I feel like I can give her back, one of the biggest thing now I want to do is, so when we were studying and we didn't had enough money, right? Because we used to come from a poor family, she gave all her jewelry for her the studies, and it's still there somewhere in the loan. And I have quite saved enough to get it out now. So this is gonna be surprise for her. So we are taking
That's so
the jewelry
sweet.
out for her. So I have seen her struggle, and I wish that I could actually like give her everything, because she deserves it.
But that's so
Literally.
sweet that years later also you remember that you have to do this. That's a sweet thing to
I mean,
do.
I think everyone will relate. I mean, with her dad, we have this little tough relationship, especially when it comes to being a boy. With her mom, we have this really emotional and like gentle relationship. And same with me. I feel like being a gay man, I feel privileged that she's my mom. She understood. She never asked me any weird questions. There are parents usually do
Mm.
that, right? She never asked anything. She said, you do what you want to do. And she believed in me. And that is why I say, like, it's genuinely not my dream, it's her dream to see me successful.
Okay, I mean, mothers are always everyone's
True.
backbone,
Yeah. Like,
rock
they're like
bottom
really
support.
warriors. Like, I genuinely feel like I remember those days, right? I still recall this day. Like, at one point we were struggling so much financially that my dad told me few days back. It's a few days back thing. So I was crying to my dad. Not crying, I was emotional, and I said, listen, it's tough sometimes.
Mm.
Will I be that successful? Like, and sometimes it gets us, right? And he was like, look at me. He said, there was time when I told your mom to literally kill the whole family by giving us poison. We were at that phase and we survived. And I'm telling you, you will survive because you're already doing well. And I was like, why are you telling me this today? You should have told me this before, because it would have pushed me so much. Like, I never realized my mom and dad have seen such bad times. Like, हमें उन्होंने पिकनिक पे भी भेजा है, हमें उन्होंने अच्छे कपड़े भी पहनाए हैं. When we started growing up, then we started seeing their compromises, right? कि मेरे मम्मी खाना नहीं खा रहे, वो मेरे और मेरे भाई को दे रहे हैं. Like, my grandfather used to pay our school fee because my mom wanted us to study in English medium. So my grandfather gave her option that either you can have a ration in the house or I can pay the fee of your child. And my mom said, pay the fee. They need to be educated. And I think that was the best decision of her life. So I come from that kind of background.
You really need to prove her and her struggles that
Yeah, I mean,
they are
the
all
whole
worth.
family was quite against when I started creating content. They were, in small cities, they look at us like we are some joker doing something on internet. And only my mom was standing there. My mom was like, no, he's gonna do great things. So when I met Katrina Kaif for the first time, she posted a video on a WhatsApp status saying, I'm so proud of my child. So yeah, I feel like I have this thing. That is, now I say this is little pressure on me that I cannot disappoint her ever in my life.
You tell me, I mean, we are in Pride Month while we're talking this. Tell me, what does this month mean to you? There is always so much of a chatter around it that uh, like there are people holding sword like it as a sword. What does this mean to you
Honestly,
personally?
unserious me will say that this is about making a lot of money, which I am making this month. But serious me will say that actually, coming from this small city like Meerut, knowing about this thing that we have a month in which we celebrate us. Like me, I never realized that when I was living in Meerut. So it actually means a lot to me. But I also do realize, like, just the moment June months come, like, people go really crazy on the internet because they feel offended that why do they need to celebrate this June month as Pride Month? Why do LGBTQIA plus community need that? And I said, listen, you all are celebrating yourself every month. We can at least have 1 month where you can just be like, okay, there are people out there, we can do pride parades and have fun because, I will not lie, still there are a lot of restrictions in society. We can't do pride parade in March. We won't get permission to do it every month, right? So I think that's a one thing. But I think, yeah, acceptance is still coming slowly, slowly. So that is one
I
factor.
think for acceptance also a celebration like this is also
Very
important.
important. Very important. I tell this to my mom always. I was like, listen, I need to take you to Pride March because you need to see it by your eyes, like how happy people are from my community. Like वो घर पे जाएंगे, वो रोएंगे, उनके पेरेंट्स उनको उल्टा सीधा बोलते हैं, उनकी लाइफ में कितना कितना कुछ गलत हुआ है, but they're like still smiling, like still living their life. And sometimes I feel like LGBTQ plus community people are actually the strongest people out there in the world.
Because they are not just struggling with, like, they struggle with themselves, they struggle with family, they struggle with society, they struggle with every kind
Yeah,
of
I mean,
thing.
struggle for acceptance. I mean, when you talk, like, I have straight friends too, like straight male friends too. They will tell me like, oh, I'm really struggling to get this, thing crack. I'm really struggling to get this job. And I was like, you know what? At least it's not getting accepted from your family. Like, that's the thing. Like, our struggles are actually very different. We have to fight for basic things. To live in my house, it was a fight, So that's such basic thing. And that is why I always say, I think I have lost most of my childhood in this traumatic experience in my house because kabhi khul ke main ji nahi paya. So I feel like that's one of the saddest part of my life.
I completely get it. Coming to fashion, that which is one of your strongest point. So fashion can be political. See, especially when you dress up like a not so not so traditional way
Yeah.
of dressing, not so how gender defined ways. So what does fashion bring to you? What um is wearing, I mean, I know you started wearing skirts just like that you were trying something and you wanted
Yeah.
to wear, and it was just a coincidence that you started, but you decided to build a personality along with it.
Yeah.
Do you
I
still
agree.
want to do that? Do you still want to stand by that personality? Do you still feel that this personality is helping you make a statement?
I think yes. I mean, I look around, my, like, when I look around, even on the internet, I get DMs from all over the world. Men wearing skirts and sending me pictures in DM and saying, oh, we wore a skirt. That makes me the happiest. That is where I decided I need to change my name now. It's the guy in a skirt. I'm out there now. And people were actually really loving it. In India, people took some time to understand it. But let me tell you, there are culture out there are traditions out there in which men were wearing skirts and are still wearing skirts. So I just had to do that in India. So I will not say it is related to any political statement. It's more about me being myself and wearing whatever I want to wear. That's the whole point.
But do you still get those eye rolls when you are shooting offline?
Oh my God, all the time, all the time. I mean, honestly, those eye rolls are actually paying my bills, so I don't mind. But I feel like sometimes I do get uncomfortable. Yeah, like shooting in public is not easy. Like, I don't know how I'm doing it in India. That is the only question I ask myself every time we come out, go outside. I'm like, how are we doing it? Because it's not also very safe, like wearing all these clothes, going out in India. And in Meerut, I've done that in Meerut too. Leave Mumbai, Delhi, and any other place. I've done that in Meerut too.
I spoke to Janelle also, and Janelle is also like, कंटेंट क्रिएशन है ना, इंडिया में सड़क पे कर ही नहीं सकते हो। आप
I am telling you, like, मेरे टीम को, like, I feel bad for them sometimes because नहीं होती चीजें, you know, there are so much of restrictions. I have seen men coming to us and being rude for no reason when we are not even disturbing them. Why? Because they're bothered from what I am wearing, from who I am. And then I have to look into their eyes and say, and probably show my bicep and say, I am a man too. Don't mess up with me. And that is the only reason I'm able to shoot on streets in India. That is why I have to like really toughen it up, because if I'm not strong, they will make sure that we are not able to, like, hello, shooting in Mumbai local train, like, creators keep asking me almost every month, how did you do it? Because it is so hard. They have tried it. And I said, I don't know. I just went out and I wanted to make sure that we have this video. Like, why not? People are doing that all over the world. I can do that in India, and I made sure that I do it. So, and it happened.
What scares you most of being a public figure now, being a content creator now? And to add to that same, what gives you the hope that okay, this is the reason I want to continue doing it?
Oh my God. I think scary part is getting attacked, because that actually happened recently, because I was in Meerut, as I said. Meerut is not a place where you want to shoot in public. I have to take like 4 people out with me, which I don't have in Meerut. I have a team in Mumbai now. I can have that privilege to have those people around me. But when we were shooting in Meerut, few people actually approached us in a way where I felt I was about to get attacked. So we have to go inside the building. And then so it was quite fine after that, you know, and then we completed our shoot, went back home. Next day, one of the guys who were approaching me was standing outside of my house. And then we looked outside from, like, you know, the terrace. And I told my mom, tell him I'm not here. Because they're like, this is not right. Something is going to happen. So my mom literally from the terrace, she said, oh, like, you know, who are you looking for? And he said, the guy in a skirt, Shivam Bhardwaj. And, you know, with the tone, I could understand. And I पीछे से मैं बोल रहा हूँ, mommy, just tell him I'm not here, because I was freaking out. This is Meerut, like, you know, and with the tone, I was like really scared. So my mom was like, oh, he doesn't live here. Because, you know, now I don't put a lot of content with my mom on social media. This is one of the reason. So he accepted that I don't live here. And then he went away. Then I went with my dad to file a complaint, because we have camera installed outside of our houses. So I was like, no. I was like, this is so scary.
It's scary for your parents also.
Very scary, very scary. I think that is, man, my dad keeps joking about this. I was like, now you are famous. This is happening. I'm like, no, I'm famous, but this is wrong.
Not what you wanted.
Like the kind of tone he was using. I think I was like, if I would have opened the door, you never know what would have happened to me at that moment. So I literally flew after 2 days from Meerut right after that. So that was scary. Yeah. And since then, I've never went to Meerut. I'm going now. Wow. Like the trauma.
But what gives you hope that you should keep doing this? It's besides all this that happened.
I think I really love shooting outdoors. I feel like that is where I'm making the statement, right? A gay guy from Meerut who, like, you know, who lives in Mumbai.
But in general also, Shivam, because being a queer person on social media is not easy.
Easy, yeah.
So, but this is one of the instances that happened because you were shooting. But in general, because you were shooting, you figured that, okay, Shivam is back. But maybe he was holding a grudge way before that.
Yeah.
There might be more people like that who was in more general that not accepting you. I'm sure there are several.
Yeah, I mean, even in your families, you have those people, yeah.
So what gives you that hope that, okay, you are on a right track, that, okay, besides that, okay, there are 1,000 people who are against you. You should keep creating content. You should keep doing what you're doing.
Content creation has literally given me everything. The respect, dude. Like, respect. I mean, when I used to live in Meerut, people used to bully me a lot. And now when I go back, they look at me, I'm something out there. It has given me so much of respect. So sometimes I just tell people I am not maybe doing it for money. I'm doing it for respect. So there is no way I can ever think, oh, I don't want to do content creation because there are people who will not accept me. I will still do it because there are people who have accepted me just because of content creation. I am a person who will always look towards a positive side. Like, I'm just like my dad. Like, that guy was out of my house to attack me, and my dad was like, "What if he was a fan?" I was like, "No." So I always try to look, to the positive side of it.
So, what keeps you going on days like these? When you are, do you feel overwhelmed? Do you feel that? Did that ever occur to you that okay, I should stop doing this now
I think I can never even imagine that
of
I will
not doing?
stop. Yeah. Like, until my last breath, I'm creating content and in skirts. I don't care. I always say this joke to my friends that I want to be this old men in India still wearing skirts. I want to do that. And the reason is because I am also doing it for my mom and dad now. Like, look at them supporting me so much. I don't have any reason to stop it now. Like, this is something I want to do till my last breath for sure.
I keep asking this to everyone, and I'll ask you: content creation has fulfilled a lot of dreams. Like in lot of dreams for so many people. People have been to rooms they never thought they will. They've purchased things that was always out of
Yeah,
their budget. They've given their parents a life that they've always dreamt of. They've given themselves a life that they always
so
dreamt
true.
of. So, what dream got fulfilled for you, or there's something that you're still dreaming about?
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm always dreaming about a lot of things. And I think that is just a human nature. That's not me being me. But saying that, I used to come from a poor family. The fact that I can now think that I am a backup for my mom and dad, I just feel very happy thinking that. That they can call me today and be like, "Do you have this amount of money?" And I can be like, "Oh, yeah, I'm transferring it." Like, that gives me so much of satisfaction. And I always keep saying that like, the reason I'm working so hard is because they feel secured now. I think that is the whole point, right? You said it's not about the rooms also. It's about just feeling secure. I think
I
lot of people don't relate with me a lot is because I genuinely, like, if you go and see from where I come from in Meerut, then you will realize, you will not even believe the kind
no,
of.
I get that. I get it for a lot of people. So I've spoken to so many, and for most people, giving that comfortable life to their parents is way more than buying a bag or buying a car or
I
anything
know
like that.
I
Just the joy they see in their parents' eyes is way more precious.
Like you said that, I remember this incident. So last month, I was about to buy like a Coach bag for me. I was saving for it. And my mom called and she said, "Your dad is not asking, but he needs some money." And I said, "How much it is?" And he said, "Some 50K or something if you have." And I was like, "Yeah, I have." I was like, "I have to just ditch my Coach bag, but this will give me much more satisfaction to me. I can have my Coach bag afterwards." And then I gave him the money. And, that's just too much of satisfaction for me. And to feel that I can do this for my whole life through content creation, I have a lot of respect for content creators, honestly, and for the content creation a lot.
I too have a lot of respect for content creators because I know the efforts that go behind it. I
Yeah,
mean, like, I've been observing this industry from over a decade now, like working closely with people. So I know in that
yeah.
fact. But tell me, how has your content and your followers evolved? The people who follow you now have evolved because the journey, like we discussed, like you started with being viral. Virality in general doesn't sit well with a lot of people, but in case with you, it's a different kind of virality. You saw a lot of hate through that.
I honestly, every time any brand calls me, all the time they say, for some reason on your page, there is so much of love. Like, how is it happening? And if you really go through my comments, you will realize that for some reason I am getting love. And then I crack the code as like, because I am very relatable to them.
Hmm.
It's not me about being gay, man. It's also me coming from this city, coming from a family like this, solving my issues and making content out of it. So they feel very relatable. So when it comes to hate, I really don't focus on it a lot. Like, इतना प्यार है, so much of love. Like, मैं reply नहीं कर पाता हूँ अभी comments को and I feel bad. कि मैं क्यों नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ, because पहले the numbers are growing and so many comments. I really feel bad, so I am just very focused on love now. Feel like the hate is coming from their insecurities, like like haters are really insecure. I mean, come on, they can never imagine a guy like me even like sitting on a couch here or maybe talking all this, right? So they're very insecure about those parts, like how he is able to do that and all. So that's one thing.
So you mentioned brands when they approached you, but I want to understand how has brands evolved in collaboration, because almost till this year also the conversation is also same that brands get active with queer creators in
Yeah.
June. You also
Yeah.
joked about it in some
Yeah,
sense, but
yeah.
how are they throughout the year? How are they approaching you?
I will say, like, this is like a dark reality of being a gay content creator on social media. Brands do approach you when they have this, storyline that we need from someone from the community. We need views and likes. We need someone who is loved on social media. And then they will come and approach you. But what about other, months and campaigns? I have seen this big beauty brands, even in India, doing campaigns and only including one creator. So you're telling me out of these, like probably 50, there are not a lot of creators from my community. You can literally count all of us on the fingers. So you are not telling me that not at least 10 creators deserve that campaign. So that is a dark reality. They will only pick one in the campaign and that's all.
It's more of a
Just to
Wha-
they
just
want to make a
tick checking
statement.
what-
No, I think they want to make that statement just by one creator. Oh, we are so inclusive. We are so, and I'm like, no, you are not, because we didn't even receive the mail for this campaign. Yeah, if you, and then I meet these like brand in the events and all, and they're like, oh, we love your content, and I'm very like straight. I'm like, but you didn't approach me for that campaign. I could have created something really bomb for you. And then, of course, they start with all their things. But I think that's a dark reality for sure. But with me, I'll also add this. I have made my personal relationship with a lot of brands now, because, I don't see myself only as a gay content creator. I'm doing a bang on lifestyle content like Meerut, Mumbai, Delhi, wherever I go, doing makeup on streets, promoting like, lifestyle now as a gay creator. So a lot of brands have actually started loving me for that reason. So recently it has been nice, but when it comes to big beauty brands, it's bad.
But do you think that you're still being approached by a similar set of brands only? Maybe like a beauty brand, or they're not, the horizon of brands is not widened too much.
Yeah, I mean, I remember. So recently I was dropped out of one campaign, very big beauty brand. And they dropped me just by telling that they don't want a gay creator in the campaign. And by mistake, their team have messed up, got me into campaign. And then the brand realized that no, we are not taking any gay creator. And then they had to call me. But I also made sure that I get the full money. Because like the trauma which you're giving me right now by
At
telling me
least
that you
the-
don't need a gay creator, I was like, thank God I'm not posting a story calling you out. So I was like, pay me the whole money which were decided, and they paid.
So it's still about the perception they want to maintain.
Of course. We are just a need. I want to be a necessity. I don't want to be a need. I want to be like, oh, Shivam creates such cool content. Let's just get him in. He's gonna make
So-
something really nice. Yeah.
So you don't want to be part of a campaign because you are a gay creator. You want to
Never.
be part of say suppose a beauty campaign because you are a beauty creator.
Because I am so talented. I did things which people were not doing in India. I'm literally wearing cropped sleeves on my hands right now. Like, I am always going out of the box thinking that these brands will see me as this talented creator and they will be like, oh, that is why we want to work with you. I think I'm not almost there, but 20-30% of the brands do see me like that now. And it took 5 years now. 5 years are not less. Like 5 years are too much, but I'm happy, honestly, that few brands are there who are seeing that way. But I wish we could have like a larger picture here and be like, oh, I've worked with that brand, this brand. That is not happening right now.
And I'm sure the brands who worked with you come back to you for
Yeah, they keep working. Yeah, they keep working. So all these brands have girls in their team, and girls love gays. So yeah, these all girls make sure कि इसका घर तो हम make sure करेंगे चलता रहे. That is one thing.
Shivam, tell me what goes behind the scenes of creating content for you. I mean, you shoot on streets, you shoot in your room. There is so much randomness that happen in your content. What goes behind it?
So I usually get bored very easily from my content. Yeah, I get easily bored. And I am like, कुछ नया नहीं किया तो मजा नहीं आ रहा. And my teams keep getting irritated because of this. Because they think I'm doing fine. And I'm like, no, this is not iconic. We need to do something more. And that is how we started creating these videos, if you have seen, where I'm going out in public and doing makeup now. And I take my team with me, but I'm like, see, it's so fun to do makeup in public. रूम में बैठ के मजा नहीं आ रहा था, so हम बाहर आके करेंगे अब से. And I did that everywhere, every city I go to. Now my dream is to make sure now when I start taking international trips, I want to make it like a bang on series, show that. Now I used to do it in India, and now I'm doing it everywhere.
Okay, coming to a little serious conversation. Being visible, being responsible also come within a sense that, okay, you have to put forward what you want to put forward. You have to make your voice heard about being gay, being someone who's doing makeup, and everything. But you still have to maintain a sensible content. You still have to make sure that you are not hurting anybody's sentiment.
Yeah. I think that is very important. Because I'm not only representing me, I'm representing the whole
entire community.
I mean, if I do anything wrong, people will be thinking, oh, maybe सारे gay लड़के ऐसे ही होते हैं. So I don't want that tag ever in my life. I want to make sure लोग बोले सारे gay लड़के इसकी तरह successful होते हैं. That is the tag I only want. So every time we are creating any kind of content right out there, we make sure that we are not hurting anyone. And I don't come from a place where I also am like, a lot of creators are like, they try to show this hate towards, straight people because they all are homophobic. We have this mindset, right? That every straight person is homophobic. I don't have that mindset. I cater to straight people too. I feel like my content is something which straight people are enjoying too. So homophobic people, I really don't like to talk to, but there are so many straight people who really love my content. So I'm fine with all of them.
But do you feel that because now you have a platform for yourself, now you have an opportunity where you can do bigger things for your community, you feel that that responsibility is a burden or a celebration for you?
Oh, celebration for sure. I mean, when I was growing up, right, I never saw anyone like me, honestly. That is one thing which I say. So today, even if I can do something, even on social media, and some like, like a gay guy from Meerut or Bareilly or Kanpur from UP or any small cities or villages can open their phone and be like, oh, he's doing it. And maybe they can show that to their parents. I think that helps a lot, because that helped a lot, personally, that helped me a lot. I remember showing content to my dad of bunch of gay creators out there in India. And, I also showed like Mrinil content to my dad. And my dad was trying to understand, and I was happy. So I always told my dad, I want to be this person from like, small cities and all, that one day people will be like, Shivam comes from the same background. So if he can do it, so we can do it too. That's the only mindset I have.
Do you feel exhausted that you have to live up to something every day? You are put up on a, like, if you have to be someone that, okay, people will come and look up to me, I still have that, I will have to maintain that, I have to be that responsible person always. You don't have that liberty that to fail now. You have, because for your parents, for people you want to look up to you, you can't literally afford to loosen up or be like, theek hai, it's okay if I fail. But do you think that you feel exhausted?
Oh yeah, I do. Ask my assistant. I do. I mean, there are days when I am taking my day really slow because I still have to shoot. But those are the days when I realize I am also feeling exhausted because of the same pattern which we all have to follow. Like, एक video पे views नहीं आए, it's fine. The moment it becomes 2 video, you're like, shit, something is going wrong. And I think that's the exhausting pattern every creator is going through right now, because they don't want to be unrelatable. We can be cool and say, oh, I am fine agar views nahi aa rahe. No, that's my business. That is how I pay my bills, my family bills. I have to make sure that I serve every day on the internet for that. So that is something can be pretty exhausting. But in the end of the day, this is a job I really love. So when the video is edited and I see it, I'm like, yeah, it was a slow day, exhausting day, but I'm very happy seeing the outcome, what I did today. So that is also something which helps me to keep going.
No, in general, I also wanted to ask why I'm asking you this is because you always have to do right.
Yeah.
Because you have to be that person who achieved, that person from a small town who achieved.
Yeah. You can't fail.
You can't fail. You
yeah.
have to live with it. It's not just a one video or a two video. It's about the career that you've chosen for yourself. You have to prove. You proved it to your dad that okay, you can do something bigger with content creation. But what if you fail in future?
And
So
there are people waiting me to seeing me failing right now. They want me to see fail, and I will never give them that satisfaction.
But this thing, no.
This is the pressure. I get it. This is the pressure. But as I say, like this can be a pressure, but it has really pushed me to do greater things. Like this is the pressure why I did that Mumbai local train. So without this pressure, I will never try these new things in India while creating content. So as I said, I want to look at the positive side. But again, I can go back home and cry. But in the end of the day, there are brands out there who don't want to, they don't want to see you cry. They don't want that. So I have to keep in my mind that, on social media, you have to be real. But in the end of the day, people really want to celebrate a gay man like me. Like there are people who want to celebrate a gay man like me. So I think that is something. But when it comes to all this pressure that I have to always be this successful, I mean, damn, I am quite successful. I don't have to show that off now. And I don't say that oftenly that I'm successful because it's a scary part. The moment you say, oh, I am successful, you are like, what if I fail tomorrow?
That's
a scary part.
It's always like you're always walking with that pressure on your shoulders that you have to be successful because now you have chosen this path for yourself, because now you have your family's responsibility now, because you have to show it to people, because there are people who are waiting for you to fail. You can't afford to fail.
And I feel like if you're really confident with your work, with the content you're creating, then you really don't think, because I remember the reason I started, creating content and then, reach was not coming in the starting. But the satisfaction you get seeing yourself doing what you love also helps a lot. The pressure can easily go away if you're doing what you love, honestly. But again, looking at the positive side also, if there was not this much of pressure on me, I would have not become what I am today, honestly.
So, and I also want to come to you for this, that you started with a story which was a struggle filled story. You were open about it on your account as well. And in general, when we see and when we look at it, I know the state is of queer people acceptance is generally very hard in our society right now. And especially when you talk about all this on your content, on your feed, and you speak about it, people start associating you with your queerness with a struggle story. But how do you maintain that? Okay, I just don't want to be associated as a queer person with a struggle story. I want to be associated with queer person with celebration. I want to be. You want, because. I know the struggle story is very important as core for you, because this is what builds you. That's what gives you strength. That okay, I could deal with that. I can deal with anything now. But there are things that okay, I am who I am. I'm celebrating. I want to live who I am, and you want to celebrate who you are. You just don't always want to be that, relive that story every single day. So how do you maintain that? Okay, the struggle doesn't go, but my success, myself is also celebrated. I mean, I'm asking too many questions.
No,
which
but
was
I think it's all related, honestly. It's all related. I feel like the struggle, of course, it's very important. That is what who I am today, right? If there was no struggle, I will not be doing what I'm doing right now. I think but I will say, there are a lot of drawbacks of talking about your struggles on social media. I was recently talking to my manager, and I was telling her, I was like, listen, there are these 2, 3 brands. They don't approach me at all. Like, is it anything which I am probably doing wrong? And they said, you know what? You have, because she has worked with bunch of creators now, she told me, a lot of brands don't want to work with you because they know from what background you come from. They know you never had luxury to use those brands, so you cannot represent those brands. And I said, are you kidding me? And I said, but I can buy those brands today and sell them. And she said, no, they don't think that way. They always want creators who came from rich backgrounds. And I said,
I know, I get that.
And I felt bad. I was like, why no one is talking about this on social media? I mean, you're telling me the reason I shared my struggle story on the social media can take so much of work from me, probably the brands which I really want to work with now. So that's one, like a drawback, which I today feel. And I feel like that is one of the few reasons people don't talk about their struggle on social media. They only want to be celebrated. They only want to be celebrated. So when I did my thing, I was so open up that my dad kicked me out of the house. I started working in a BPO. I was only earning 18,000 rupees and I survived. They celebrate that. So I've really earned so much of respect from that. And that is why straight people also love me. They don't see a gay man doing that. They see someone who really dreamt for something. They were like, इसको कुछ करना था, तो ये लड़ गया सबसे उस चीज के लिए. So that is why I think I get support from straight community too.
Shivam, coming to the kind of content you create, kind of the industry you generally cater to, beauty and fashion, which is very gender specific. Like it's not now, but it has always been a very gender specific kind of content and kind of industry. But how do you feel that you or queer creators in general are breaking that, are reshaping the industry? Because I see a lot more acceptance now, but how are you reshaping, and what are your thoughts in it?
I think reshaping is more of like, when I started creating content in Meerut, and people don't even imagine that someone who comes from this poor family where like things were so different. I was around people who never wanted to see me creating content. I never thought of a bigger picture that I will be reshaping something. That happened like after so many years, probably like I think almost like when I shifted to Mumbai, then I realized that it's a bigger picture now. Like you are here to also break this stereotype that we deserve equal attention. And people were only looking at beauty brands and they were selling to, all these girls. They wanted to do all girls creator and make it that kind of a campaign. And today when there are quite few brands who are doing campaign, they're including us. And I'll not lie, I've literally sold so many stuff, like promoted and all randomly to my straight male friends. They'll tell me they have a dark circle and they're like, listen, use this brand concealer. It's really good. So I feel like it was never about gender. Products are never about gender.
It's skin. Every skin works like that.
Yeah. And I think right now people have been really into looking good and presentable, head to toe. So even boys are really open up to doing things. I mean, they will wear a nail paint and apply concealer. I've seen boys applying mascara and I'm like, you don't need because they have such big lashes, right?
I'm jealous, but yeah.
True, very true. But I feel like it's never about gender now. So I think we have actually helped. LGBTQIA plus community have actually helped in that way. Because when we all started creating content, because it's been like 5-6 years now, I feel like when we started creating content, the talk started in the industry that we can also promote that product.
Oh, there is a new TG.
Yeah. And then slowly it started happening. I mean, 3 years back, I was not doing this much of campaigns. Today I am. So brands are also understanding that we are an hour of need now.
Okay. So just some fun random questions. What are you manifesting now? What dream collab or what are you manifesting for yourself?
Oh my God, I I just told my assistant few days back, I said, I want to collaborate with Michael Kors because I saw them collaborating with few creators. And I said, listen, let my manager tell me that lot of brands, I'm not saying Michael Kors, but a lot of brands have this mindset of not working with creators who come from such poor background, and they are making themselves like up towards the direction where they can actually sell all these things. I'll make sure that I break that shell and I work with all these brands. So Michael Kors was the one I told her.
Okay. And if internet didn't exist, suppose, so
Yeah.
how would you express yourself creatively? What would you be doing now? Imagine.
I think I will be a fashion designer, a fashion stylist probably, because I mean, look at me. So that is one thing. If I behind the camera, I will still be creative, like with fashion. So that is one thing. I think fashion designer or fashion stylist.
Okay. And if you have to leave a message, because I just want to, we spoke so much about content and so much in depth. I don't want that our conversations should end on that heavy note. I want that you and I should, when we get up from this couch, we are laughing. So I want you to leave a message for someone, for say, suppose for queer creators 50 years from now, hoping that the world will not be biased and not be divided into that male creator, female creator, queer creator. There's a creator.
So the message for the younger ones, right? I think I will just tell them, do it if you really love to do it. Don't do it for money, because that is how I started and that is how I survived. I see a lot of creators coming to me, new creators coming to me and say, oh, you want so much of money. And I said, no, it was never about money. It was about me doing something in my life. So I think that is one thing I want to say. They should not be this person ki hame kuch isse paisa kamana hai, because that will eventually come if you're doing good. I will not lie. But reality is ki if you really love to stand in front of a camera and express yourself, then do it.
Okay. And how would you want to be remembered? Say, suppose years from now, there is a legacy that I've left, or this is what I want I don't want to use those words, but after my stone should reflect.
Yeah.
That's what I would.
I think it should be like a guy who just never gave up, honestly. A guy who loved wearing skirts even after the whole world was actually against. It's like I don't want to call myself rebel. I just want to say that, a guy who was really strong. He stood his grounds, he dreamt, and before people used to not see boys like me dreaming, like having these big dreams. So I would be happy to be remembered that way, who has like a guy who had like big dreams.
Okay. Thank you, Shivam. It was not just fun, but it was a very wholesome conversation for me, because I know that I can speak to you and pick your brain about this. I always like to know what goes behind someone in becoming who they are, because for creators, I always say that there is one side which we all know, and there is a whole other story which is behind, and we don't see see it. So it's always fun to chat. It's always fun to hear your stories, but thank you so much for sparing your time.
You're welcome. I really love this. This is my first podcast, by the way. I just wanted to do it with you because, of course, I'm your favorite gay. Makes sense.
I'm your favorite person also.
I know. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Yeah.